this is the essence of what I was talking about earlier regarding what Mehdi Hasan had mentioned in his chat. Fresh off from attacking Nora Erekat, and remember,
I want to talk to her. I've read her book.
Nora's a professor at
yes, Rutgers. I know, and I'd love to talk to her because I read her book like last year.
Jill Stein and Butch Ware are now attacking me as a rat, house, and FBI agent, no less. What a great way to help the Palestinians and stop the genocide. The Greens truly leading the way for the left and for the Muslims.
Oh, Mehdi.
Well, Mehdi, as I've mentioned before, while he does have the right take on Israel-Palestine, he doesn't have the right strategy because his bread is buttered by very similar people who fund the Democratic Party.
I don't know how you can say, like, how do you get to simultaneously be right on the Palestine issue, but supporting Kamala Harris? That's like Jews for Jesus.
It doesn't make any sense, but let's not forget, and we've been saying this for a long time, the more that the Democratic Party allows itself to self-destruct is the more that this type of thing is going to occur. Now, listen, no one has a crystal ball. It's still possible that Kamala Harris is the next president, but it's not going to change the inevitable of where things are going. The scariest part about the Democratic Party winning again is that censorship is going to be ratcheted up to 1,000. That's where it's headed.
Because and so many of the people go back to sleep, so they're not even paying attention. Nobody's fighting on these issues.
Correct. That's a huge part of
and it. I really think they're going to get the same result that they got in 2016. They are. They're going to get the exact same result, and they deserve that.
Colin, are you able to scroll down on this tweet? Because I want to show Jill Stein's response.
You know what doesn't help Muslims? Genociding their people. That doesn't help them. And not that all Muslims are Palestinian or all Palestinians are Muslim, because that's not true. But they seem to have gathered in solidarity with the Palestinians at this point. So to think that somehow they can be benefited by supporting the party that's genociding the people that they're standing in solidarity with, that seems really stupid.
Dr. Stein responds with, "This is a lie, Mehdi. I never attacked Nora Erekat, and I never called you a rat or anything else. We all know you want everyone to vote blue no matter genocide, and that is actually a very good tagline.
It is.
But you can make that case without spreading misinformation." Again, another good use of a word.
And she didn't attack Nora Erekat, and I can tell you exactly what happened. Jill Stein actually approached Nora Erekat and asked her to be her running mate and was sort of looking into that. And Nora said to her that they should try this strategy of approaching. She wanted to sort of give Kamala an opportunity to change her stance before accepting that. And I don't necessarily agree with that strategy, but that's not attacking somebody by simply saying what they wanted to do. All Jill Stein did was explain what the conversation was with Nora regarding her strategy in approaching Kamala Harris. That's not attacking her. And Mehdi knows that.
And one of the things that people fail to understand, and this is very important because I know people are mentioning this in the chat, and I'll even highlight what Donald James says, which is Mehdi quit MSNBC, is now doing his own thing. Doesn't that show principle?
Yes, to some extent.
It does. But here's a little secret that, and I'm not going to say who the person is, but let's just say that one of Jen's max donors when she ran against Wasserman Schultz is one of Mehdi Hasan's biggest benefactors. And who's to say that that person is not adjacent to the Democratic Party establishment? And once you get to that level of money, when we're talking somebody who could write $1 million check and say, here's your new media company, that is who you answer to. Now, Mehdi personally probably doesn't care very much for Kamala Harris.
No, but it doesn't matter.
But career-wise, he chooses to, because your career is what gets dangled over your head. This is why we have been lauding Tim Black for the longest time.
And I get that. I get that what Mehdi is like. I get that, but then don't be disingenuous. You don't get to say that you're taking the high road on the issue of genocide, but then turn around and simp for the Democratic Party. Again, those are mutually exclusive things. You don't get to do that. You don't get to support Kamala Harris and then pretend that you're not taking a stand on what's happening in Palestine. And you will be taking a stand. That is taking a stand on what's happening in Palestine. And that's the vote. That's what you're saying with that vote. Now, you might not like that that's what we see, but it doesn't change what it is.
No, it's not going to change
You're
what it
making
is.
your statement. That is your statement on your thoughts about what you're okay with.
But this is also one of the big problems that I am trying to get people um, to understand and to see, which is the hardest reality in all of politics is for people who they think are on their side or are fighting for their cause. When the money is on the table and they have to make a decision, they will pick the money every time. There is very few, if any, people who will walk away from it and just say, fuck it. Very few, if any, people are Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is the one person in any level of entertainment where serious money was on the table and he walked away from it. But most people will not do it. And in the case of politics, there's also sometimes it's not even a lot of money. Some people
No,
want
it's
the
amazing
grace
how
and title.
cheap. It's amazing how so many of these corporate whores can be bought for. It's unbelievable how cheap they are.
One of the things that we definitely know about Wasserman Schultz is that
Ah.
she loves to go on CNN. She loves walking in the Capitol Rotunda on the third floor where the media is set up so that she can get in front of the camera and let everybody know exactly what's going on in my neck of the woods.
Well, she gets money from AIPAC for doing so. You know what I mean? Like she gets paid to put their talking points out there as often as possible. And she loves to, is the first Jewish representative from Florida and so on and so forth. And she loves that. She loves to play her, as if she's somehow representative of the Jewish community. She disgusts me for that extra.
The thing that we have been trying to point out on this podcast for a while now is that this isn't about the left. This is about economic populism to save our republic, which is why we get along very well with the libertarians, even though we have strong disagreements with them.
That's his point. The left is all stuck in their moral high horse.
Yes, which is why we're trying to change that narrative here. Because what else you got?